And been to many of these OGs, you know, you just interrupt whenever you want and ask whenever. So you guys ask away whenever you have a question, whenever you want to do something or have a question. Just feel free to just jump on in. And I'm going to forewarn you that we're going to go on a creative journey and an interpretive journey. And if you're wired like my son back there, he's already got it in a different way, we're gonna. Okay, I gotcha. we're gonna have fun here, so you guys interrupt whenever you want to. And if you have any challenges with doing this stuff, just tell me, because I write out a formula. I don't do this part. And we'll go from there. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Maybe when we come down to the writing part, you will start writing formulas. I don't know. We'll find out with that one. But let's start out with just talking about some things that we all know about Mensa. Who knows what Mensa means? Table. So is it around the table or is table? We didn't even need a hint for what that is. Exactly that Mensa means table. There's even a constellation come through. You know about Mensa? You?
Heard of that, but don't know much about it.
Well, anything you know, just let us.
You just
I want
heard.
to, it's kind of something new I've stumbled across lately, but there's some stars and like you guys read one. And this is the coolest table collection, by the way, is the Mensa table collection. If you haven't seen it, website tell you about it, but I know you can't see it. So you get the card in the back, where you get this whole slide presentation, and it's already posted on Facebook anyway. So don't try to see everything. This presentation is already yours. So I might want to check out that table collection. It's pretty cool. And before we get started, I want to introduce my favorite Mensa. And
thank you.
Come on up. This is my favorite Mensa.
Flip upward. Flip over.
There you go. Here's the other. All right. My son, Jonathan, he's 8 years old, about to go in 3rd grade. And talking about cool wiring, my son is awesome. So we're going to kind of start us all out.
What's football?
Yeah, he's a football player. He's a baseball player. Football, baseball, what else you play? Basketball. Yeah, football season's coming up, so he's all getting it out there. But anyway, we did the Mensa thing. What about Olympic Truce? Anyone have any idea what in the world is Olympic Truce? Olympic Truce? Hey, no hints. No hints. Let's all just kind of stand up somewhere and find somebody's hand and hold somebody's hand. So, anyway, now there was, so, anybody know what Olympic Truce means now?
Holding hands.
To compete in competition with your work.
Oh, you got it on the dot. Yeah, you got it on the dot. And I heard you say something.
Holding hands.
Holding hands. So, all right. So the Greek word for Olympic truce actually means holding hands.
Yeah.
Okay, kiddo, you can have a seat right there. Thank you. So actually, the Greek word for the ancient Olympic truce is ikaikoria, which means the holding of hands or the breaking of hostility, as you were getting into, and we're going to get into a little bit more. And as I say, we're going to go on a creative journey, and you guys just express yourself. And look forward to having a fun time in the room today. And we're going to kind of do a little bit of a roundtable just because I want to hear what you have to say about some of this stuff. So
I'm participating.
yeah, okay. So everybody, thank you for your participation. And anyway, we're going to kind of at times maybe go into a little bit of a roundtable where you really do, do input your stuff, input your opinions and so forth throughout. And now this is a cute little kid, a little reminder. It's not my kid, but he's cute. He looks very smart. And he's reminding us all this stuff that we talked about today. It may be creative and artsy and all this, but if you really want to get into it, there's a book that a colleague and I have just published. Took a long time. It was through Routledge Publishing, which is a great academic publisher, but it's available on Amazon, and the name of the book is the same as what's in the program, Olympic Movement and the Sport of Peacemaking. And pretty much the abstract when you approach the book is written in the program, but where we're going to go today is we've added a little bitty sentence on the bottom that just kind of says something a little bit stretches it way, way far away from the academic side of this. And it says, we're going to just have an introductory session to the Olympic truce. We're going to explore the power of truce, which could very well hold the key to history's next 1,000-year peace accord. Now look at what peace would look like if it lasted 1,000 years. We're going to just break the ice, which is all that hand-holding that we just did. We're going to look at the Olympic truce a little bit in more detail. And then for the purpose of us here, our question that we're going to ask ourselves is, what would peace look like if it lasted 1,000 years? And we're going to maybe do some kind of focus group, something, and really get your opinion back. And when we say survey, hint, 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 I think it might just be like one question, and it might be something that looks like a research question that says, what would peace look like if it lasted 1,000 years? So, I'll be thinking about that. All right. The Olympic truce was a period of peace that everyone instituted or what have you before the games, so that everybody could travel to and from the Olympic Games in peace. And this would have been about 700 or 800 years BC.
That's what it was during the first set of Olympics. So yeah,
the ancient Olympics.
It took a very long time to get to where you're going.
Right, okay. That's where you're going. So, in antiquity, they instituted the Olympic truce where that people could travel to and from warring city-states in Greece and make it to the games without being killed. And everyone wanted to honor that truce because everybody wanted to go have some fun and see the Olympics. So the cooperation was quite good, and the Olympic truce was quite successful, and it's been credited throughout history as being the longest-lasting peace accord in recorded history, spanning the sands of time over 1,200 years. Okay, so this has already happened. When we talk about 1,000 years of peace, it's already taken place. So the Olympic truce in antiquity is credited for 1,200 years of peace. It's the longest lasting peace accord in recorded history. Started in Greece so that people could get to and from the Olympic Games. And now, of course, we look at the truce and we look at the world, the whole earth, which brings us to the United Nations. Sounds like you know the history of the Olympics as far as the Olympics in antiquity, and then they were stomped out and didn't go on for several hundred years. And then about 200-300 years ago, 250 years ago, 1800, there was a revival of the Olympic Games, and so they came back. And then in the 90s, there was a revival of the Olympic truce. the way that it was instituted was as United Nations resolutions that are adopted every 2 years. So the General Assembly will adopt these resolutions, one for the summer games, another one 2 years later for the winter games, summer games, winter games, summer games, winter games. And over the course of that time, since the 90s, participation in signing the Olympic truce, the way the countries are participating, is awesome. Everybody, all the countries try to jump on board and sign this thing because, they want to offer the appearance, illusions, what have you, of peace. Now, there are some tense moments, like there were some tense moments with the signing of the Olympic truce during the London Games, but it worked out. I think some of the countries in Iran and so forth were a little hesitant to sign, but they had time on, and all worked well. In antiquity, the Olympic truce had the power to stop wars, but in modern times, wars have the power to stop the Olympic truce. If you remember in World War I and World War II, some of the Olympic Games didn't happen at all. So we're just asking ourselves the question of, how valuable is it to reinstate the Olympic truce just as strongly as it was held in ancient times. It's kind of clear cut, one way to war, one way to peace, and then again, there's always those gray areas. But we do know that the Olympic truce is the longest lasting peace accord in recorded history, and that it's lasted over 1,200 years. So, at least that's something to bank on. And we want to ask ourselves, we want to pave the door for, would it be feasible for this to happen in the future? And you think we can do it? It sounds far off, but we've done it before. So, I want you to just take a minute when we talk about 1,000 years of peace. How is it sitting with you? What do you think about 1,000 years of peace?
It's a bit of a misnomer though, because it's small chunks of time in those 1,000
Not
years.
continuous.
Yeah, and so I guess 1,000 years of peace doesn't look like 1,000 years of peace, it wasn't. But there were little tiny increments where people managed to behave like human beings instead of having things like benevolence, whatever, to be able to reach a common goal. It's so unfortunate that we can't make it stretch a little longer than
So you're saying like maybe not peace but truce. There's a difference between just agreeing to just lay down weapons for a little bit, and a difference between peace and not having to worry about somebody killing you, and truce between you won't kill me through breakfast. And, so there's a difference between that. And if what you're saying is 1,000 years wasn't in your description something that lasted 1,000 years, it lasted like this, a little bit at a time, over the course of 1,000 years. Right? Well, what about the idea of 1,000 years being a short amount of time? Scheme of things. Anybody have any? It feels like a long time. Anybody have anything else to say about 1,000 years? What in the world is that? I mean, to whom? 1,000 years doesn't mean much to this. It's not going to be here. Your body, your person, not going to be here. Why is 1,000? What's 1,000 years important to anyway? The earth? Mankind. Okay.
But we didn't have, people didn't have nobody could travel distances way back when, or not. It's only been in the last 1,000 years or so that people have actually went further than 2 feet away almost. So it was almost a reflection of the time that you had to have truces, because people needed to travel distances through warring things to be able to get to the place. So, and as we learned to stay on and as we learned, started inventing, swimming rifles and different things like that, so people could actually go further for the first games and then return back to where they came from. It was a necessity, because if they hadn't developed truce, then the games can now happen.
And there's been an act of the day thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think
Is that really a
so
truce?
they're
Like
without
a union,
tax.
yeah, a union, yeah, instead of people.
So that,
And what
instead of
about-
breaking
what-
the truce,
what
or
is-
that?
Anything relating to 1,000 years, maybe? Do you have something to
Just letting you know that you're doing good. Recorded 15 minutes.
You don't need a room proctor, you just need
Yeah, I know, right, yeah, I know. There you go. It's not 5 minutes time or something.
I'm listening.
Well, I'm just going to see how we're going to stretch with this and see how you were going with this 1,000-year thing. Oh my goodness, there's that Mensa constellation again. I never know about that. But anyway, so if the Olympic Truce has been credited in history for spanning 1,200 years of time in dots, maybe as you're saying. It's nothing new. 1,000 years is nothing new. So we've been here before looking at 1,000 years of peace. And in the long scheme of things, in the scheme of time, in the scheme of, space, time, and all that, 1,000 years may not be that important to us, so to say, in our bodies, but, 1,000 years is just a little bit of time, so. And there's all kinds of different ways, different things you hear about 1,000 years of peace, I'm sure whatever belief you come from, there's probably something written in there about 1,000 years of peace. Maybe it's an end game where, half the world is wiped out or called up from trumpets or something, or maybe your view is the vibrations of the earth reach some way that the whole earth slides into a different dimension, and where you experience 1,000 years of peace. Who knows? It could go on. I'm not really getting into that part. Whatever you believe and wherever, I'm just asking you what 1,000 years means to you. This is a fight that we're just going to, or maybe a controversy we're just going to set to the side, and we're just going to ask ourselves, if you had 1,000 years of peace, what would you do with it? If it was there as a gift, and there you were, all dead and gone somewhere in the stars, looking down at looking at 1,000 years, what would you do with it? What would it look like? This is an article that I wrote for our local paper at one time, which just asked basically if we were able to live in peace for a few weeks during the games, or a few months before and after the games, why couldn't we live in peace for longer periods of time? From a diplomatic perspective, again, all these slides are yours already. They're already posted online, and you can get them through the card that's in the back. But anyway, basically, diplomacy is trying to create a window of opportunity for dialogue and reconciliation separate from any religion, economic, or political influence, just paving the way for peace to come through without some preconceived dialogue on what you do get there. There's also the truces being used from an advocacy perspective. Here's an example of what a group of a few 50 or so athletes did. They band together and said, we claim the Olympic truce here in Darfur, no more fighting. And so, if you're into your case studies, look at what happened in Darfur. That's a pretty good example. Anybody could do that. Given a conference on. Well, look into the case studies to see about that. Depends on who you. I say yes, it worked because they took it and claimed it for their own. So you're always going to have dueling sides to everything moving forward. So you just have to. My personal view is you just have to claim what it is you're going to claim and move forward. And if those athletes in Darfur claim the Olympic truce as a period of peace, you know, as opposed to not claiming anything or not feeling the power to do so, then I feel as if it was successful and worked well for them, you know. This is one of my favorites, and you keep mentioning often, is traveling and safety. Of course, corporate involvement is great. They want people to be able to travel safely. They want people to be able to travel visa-free without passport issues, you know, here and there. So, you know, passport agencies, everybody tries to work together, and the travel agencies just love the Olympic Truce because they would definitely like to see people moving all over the globe, you know, free to travel wherever they want. Talking a little bit about a roundtable. Hey, kiddos, you want to bring out that paper?
Which paper? This one?
Yeah.
I might be doing something different, but I'm listening.
All right, kiddos is going to bring you some paper there. And you know, yeah, you can. And you know what? I think about, yeah, there you go. Just do it that way. That'll work. And if anybody needs a pen, we've got some too.
Yeah.
And let's take a minute to watch this. This film about. This is about an art project that took place during the Olympic Games, during the London Olympic Games. And this lasts about 5 minutes, so.
Within the Truce Arts project, what we've done is we've invited 3 very different individuals and organisations. What we wanted to do with this piece of work was to engage young people in a process where they were contributing, working with artists like themselves, but they were part of something bigger.
And he invited Creative Intelligence Agency to work with them on researching and producing digital art projects, working with young people. And our role was initially to help them find the artists. All of the artists actually chose their own groups of young people, with the exception of the head artists who worked with Soda. And the only criteria that we gave was that each of the groups had to be from somewhere in Greater London, and that each group should be from a different borough.
Truce is a different way in. Truce is a moment, but that moment leads to an understanding which could lead to change. Giving young people the space to reflect through making something is an opportunity that young people don't usually get.
These are things they inspire you, and I think that's what art does. Young people are idealistic, they believe that anything can happen, and they can make things happen. And therefore they're a tremendous group to embrace concept.
The Gremlins Burleson project is focused on young people identifying moments of reconciliation in popular cultural films and recreating them through photography. I think what Simon and Carol have created is 8 extraordinary videos that have a story and a backstory, and a phenomenal backstory in terms of young people understanding a moment of reconciliation, recreating it, but recreating it in a collaborative way where they take different roles and different responsibilities, where actually what they're modelling is a way of being which is incredibly powerful. Is an extraordinary individual. She has an extraordinary story as an artist, and her work is very distinctive. And what Jeanette is doing is working with a group of young people to still the love in flash animation, but also she's giving them permission to develop their own work, which is very similar to what she does.
Company Pigeon is really about deal making and negotiation, and which is part of any truce really. And so the storyline is that the Company Pigeon goes across London and trades different miniature icons of London with other birds that you might encounter in London.
We're working with Soda, who are providing the website initially, the frame for all the artwork pieces that we're sharing. Now we're also working with some people from Middlesex University, and we're connected to an artist taking the lead project called Bustops, where there's a platform for digital artwork to be shown on the top of Bustops. This is working with a group of young people attached to New Direction, a program called Head Start, and those young people will be creating their own individual artwork, which will become part of a digital which we're calling the Truce Wall.
The Truce Wall has become a symbol of the Olympic truce. It's taken a number of different forms. In 2006 in Turin, it was a glass wall which people, including Olympians and Paralympians, signed on both sides. And it was really from there that we decided that this idea was quite interesting as a concept, and we started to think about what a digital truce wall might look like. The legacy will be the resource pack that we have online, which is available to download free of charge, as well as the website itself and the evaluation of the project in London. We're hoping that the next step will be handing it over as a package to Rio, which is the next Olympic city, and that they in turn will hand on to the future Olympic city.
Well, we've definitely moved this truce, this period of peace, or this peace talk. Now we've totally moved into the art realm, okay, where we're getting a little bit interpretive and so forth. And this next one, we're going to skip so that you can go back home and take a look at the slides and this is talking more diplomacy with you. Fellow advocate, Michael Bates, who did a walk for Truce. We're going to see where we are stuff today. In this project that was just described, the Truce project in London, they took computer animation, asking people, you know, what does Truce look like, this peace stuff, what how does the Truce stuff mean to you? And just wanted to show you some things. You got some papers if you got any notes, because you know we're still stuck on that thing about what peace looks like to you. What the long periods of peace, how would you describe it? So this is an abstract work that I absolutely adore. But here we go.
Need help? I didn't like it.
Didn't like it? That one was definitely what abstract one was definitely my favorite. But anyway, it can be said with this one, with the all the craziness and the loud noises and things that were taking place as the birds were flying around and so forth and all that during there, and it got real loud and it got real black and it got real confusing, and then all of a sudden it was quieting down. It got more in order, more symmetry, and things were calm and orderly, shall we say peaceful. So it's a visual transformation of conflict towards peace. Any thoughts on that one?
Mom.
It gets easier from this point on.
Mom.
Yes.
I didn't like it because I didn't quite understand what flight lines meant. It was just looked to me like it was just birds flying around.
Right, and you wanted to know if they were going north or south.
No, I mean like.
What their flight pattern.
No, I mean like. What did it mean, or what did the video mean? I didn't quite understand what it meant.
Right.
With Olympic Truce, that is not really a matching thing for me.
Yeah, it just didn't exactly float your boat. It didn't mean something to you as far as, whereas I got all that meaning from it, you know, it just kind of didn't exactly work exactly for you to grab onto the meaning. So the meaning could be different for different people. The wonderful thing about art and interpretation is it doesn't have to say the same thing to you as it does to me. And it doesn't have to say the same thing to me as it does to you. So that one was fine, that one was a little harder. Moving along, this one is so cute. This is right about the travel thing. And this pretty much sums up the corporate involvement with travel. And it will need no further explanation other than click and go.
I'll help you.
Well, see, that's okay. I think I got it. Let's try again. Thank you, Lily.
Mouse trip.
I want to see Brazil play in roller skates, and I miss my flight. There's no more seats left. Please, let me borrow your skateboard.
Yeah, sure.
Please, I need to borrow your car.
Yeah, sure.
Please, can you help me? I need you to give me a ride.
Yeah, sure.
Please, I am needing transportation.
Yeah, sure.
Please, can you help me? I need to get somewhere fast.
Yeah, sure.
Please, can you give me a lift?
Yeah, sure.
Please, can you help me? I need a ride.
Yeah, sure.
Please help me. Can you give me a lift?
Yeah, sure.
Please, can you give me a ride?
They're all saying, yeah, sure. I like that one.
A little easier, huh? Any thoughts on that one?
Well, life would be different if we cooperated with each other.
Well said. This one is wonderful. Okay, the universal war between dogs and cats. Okay, what would peace look like if the war between dogs and cats is it?
Welcome to the 2012 annual Cats and Dogs Fashion Show. And boy, what a treat we have in store for you all tonight. The unveiling of Paul Pointer's new collection.
Catherine, you're gonna look lovely, just lovely, darling.
Paul, you're the best.
I just know you're gonna make me proud.
Of course I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the new collection of Paul Pointer. Ladies and gentlemen, is the new Paul Pointer collection.
So if big trenched war, if conflict like that ceased between dogs and cats, and we became also cosmopolitan and spread it on the catwalk in our fashion shows with dogs and cats in the audience, and dogs and cats hand in hand, having roses thrown at them at the end of the fashion shows. And that is what peace looked like to some kids that did the celebration. So who the Truce project. Any thoughts on that one? And then talk and listen. We're talking about diplomacy here and what it means to do a little bit of talking, a little bit comments on that one?
Liked it.
Yeah, because I have nothing to say on that one.
Well, actually, it's not maybe very related, but it's taking back when you were asking about what would mean to you 1,000 more. That's something quite more and maybe then we think of here, maybe we'll actually have to continue with our family. Everybody will not get to that, but maybe it might, I can start to see my reality, and also thinking about maybe if I can be assured that there are going to be 1,000 years of truth, 300,000 of that. I might have kids, and I'm not joking here. It's something that I consider the fear of when it's going to be the next war.
What is this lecture?
Or the next world war. It's something that really is haunting.
What? Allora, che sei sempre no. Vedo che that's when he Saturday, 1:30. Yeah, it should be.
In the movie The Last Starfighter, there is a scene, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
It's 12:47.
I don't remember the time anymore. But the young guy is getting his life inserted in his ear, and it enables him to understand any language. So you speak your language, and what you hear is what someone is saying to be translated by the typing into your language. So everybody has complete communication with each other. And I volunteer with foreign military students where the States language and get a chance to meet so many people. And I just think that if people could talk, listen, and understand, that the world would be completely different. I don't know that there will be an answer, but the way technology, I mean, they develop here, the way technology is happening these days, it's potentially reality. Maybe the God of the sky is certainly something that we use.
Google Translate.
It's constantly
Let's stop for just a little bit of feedback as far as the time check and see, because you, what time is it? 1:45. Okay, and I want you to know all these are available to you with the card. I'll watch it whenever you want to, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, the black top thing's going on at 1 o'clock. You know,
You want to go too?
I'm asking for feedback. Where do you want to go here?
Yeah.
You want, okay, you want to, okay. Let me just kind of show you through some different animations that you can see at your realm. Going home, about personal family reconciliation. Popular, that one's a cute one about frogs and so forth.
I like Popular.
Paintball, it's one of the abstract things that because it's, you know, getting ready and paintball related, I don't know. I'd rather have those birds flying around, but if you're more realistic and you need some bang-bangs, you will probably enjoy.
Well, birds are realistic.
The pigeon one they mentioned in the film when they were explaining the Truce project. There's one about a pigeon going through London and bartering and with different people that he met, or different pigeons that he met, about London icons and so forth. Jelly Wobble, one of the kiddos' favorites.
I love it.
Yeah. And but we must, absolutely must end with this one. This is another one of my favorites. Now, you know, you don't, there's it's something about blinking stuff makes you dizzy, and you might want to take that into consideration. Look elsewhere for a minute.
What's that one? Oh. I hate Truce jingle.
We'll be here, so come on over, no need to fear. We want you here, we want you here, feeling big here.
Comment. On your paper, please. Just tell me what 1,000 years of peace means to you. Just write down your thoughts. With that, here's the question. What would peace look like if it lasted 1,000 years? Any thoughts you might have? And kiddo's got a bucket back there. Just put those in there. I'm sure you can see what you have to say. And pick up a card in the back. One of the blue and red ones, and anyway, I have on there. Actually, it's my Facebook link. If you're not a Facebook page, it's Cindy Burleson on my Facebook page. And if you're not a Facebooker, it's with Cindy Burleson at hotmail.com, which is also what's written in the program. And I'll just send you all these things are. This is a switched up, accelerated version of our time here together. Y'all have any comments, any closing?
Can we watch Jelly Wobble?
Jelly Wobble? We'll have to watch Jelly Wobble a little bit later.
Just do it.
I highly recommend it, yeah?
Yes. I want them to see it. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
Just let them see it.
So Jelly Wobble is highly recommended. So,
just let them see it. There it is. Jelly Wobble. Ah. Yay!
Kiddo's favorite.
Yep.
Is it the bird poop on the bed that really gets you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the one with the black eye and the when the bird poops come on them.
Yeah, okay. I hear that as he's 8 years old, just on the verge of adolescence and all that adolescent jokes get real, adolescent humor.
Talking about jokes, has anyone heard of this? What do you call me if I crush up a cereal bowl? A serial killer. Sorry. There's something under the table.
Keep watching?
Sure.
When you're ready to go, Kiddo's got a bucket right back there. And I don't know if we'll see at the front top, but we'll see.
Take a card. Take a card. What's your answer then? Here.
Okay, here's your answers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
That'll
you.
just go in there.
Black helicopters. there was a full ring there for her, and
She didn't
the
come.
message wasn't right. She thought it was today, and so
So it is today.
who knows what it was, but anyway, I know a lot of people
Take a card. Take a card.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pin.
Alrighty.
Take a card. Take a card.
Where should I put it?
Here.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will keep the notebook and I will put it on the paper.
All right. That's fine with me. Thank you. The bigger the pages, the better the answer. Yep.
How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Where are you going next?
I don't know. I'm gonna go.
Oops.
Well,
Is this the end? Ah!
Googled her, you just Googled her and you found the website.
I kept hitting it, looking for something, and it turned out to be her. Yeah, I figured it would be a secret bureau or something, because that's not her, so kind of cool.
Say
But
cheese.
anyway, I talked to her, and then they told her,
Hello.
hi. Then they told her,
Oh, there's Grandmommy. Goody, Woody. Bye, everybody. Bye.